Here's a weird confession. I know a guy who sold his company for $50 million and spent the next 6 months Googling how to disappear completely. Another friend went viral with 10 million views, then didn't leave his apartment for 2 weeks. And me? I hit every goal on my vision board. Then stared at the wall wondering if this was it. Raise your hand if you've ever felt personally victimized by your own success. If you've ever felt like you're winning at a game that's slowly killing your soul. This video will either save your sanity or at least explain why you're secretly planning your escape to a goat farm in New Zealand. But here's the thing. The next 12 months will decide who thrives and who gets replaced by a robot with better hair. If you don't shift now, you might wake up in a few years wondering why you're still stuck on the same hamster wheel. Except now, the hamster wheel has AI and a better LinkedIn profile than you. Because what I'm about to show you isn't just about mindset, it's about the literal brain chemistry that's keeping you trapped in a game you were never meant to play. Stick around, because at the end I'll share the single weirdest, most effective infinite game hack I've ever tried. And it's not what you think. It involves a question that rewired my brain in 30 seconds and made me question everything I thought I knew about success. But first, I need to tell you about the $2 billion mistake that proves your brain is literally sabotaging your success, and why the solution involves jazz musicians, ancient hunters, and a neuroscience discovery that changes everything. Okay, confession time. I used to think life was like a football match. You train, you hustle, you score, you win. Simple. But then, after a few big wins, the kind you're supposed to post about on LinkedIn with rocket ship emojis, I felt nothing. Or worse, I felt like I'd just finished a marathon and the finish line was a mirage made of anxiety and Red Bull. Plot twist. I'm not alone. If you've ever stared at your to-do list and wondered if it's secretly plotting against you, you're in the right place. I've talked to founders who sold their companies for millions and woke up the next day with a weird sense of dread. I've met artists who went viral, only to find themselves doom-scrolling at 3 a.m., desperate for the next hit of validation. And I've seen high achievers who, after finally getting the promotion, immediately started plotting their escape to a goat farm in the Alps. Why is it always goats? Do goats have better work-life balance? Here's why this matters more than your morning coffee addiction. We're living through the Great Resignation, the creator economy boom, and the AI revolution, all at once. The people who figure out how to play the infinite game in the next 12 months will build the companies, create the art, and live the lives that define the next decade. The ones who stay stuck in finite thinking, they'll be replaced by someone with ChatGPT and a better strategy. Every week you stay in the finite game is another week you're training your brain to crave the wrong rewards. It's like teaching your brain to be addicted to cotton candy when what it really needs is a balanced meal. Sound familiar? Then buckle up, because we're about to poke this with a stick and see what crawls out. Let's talk about the 2 games you're playing, whether you know it or not. Game number 1, the finite game. This is the game of win or lose. It's got rules, a scoreboard, and a finish line. Think sports, exams, quarterly sales targets. Who can eat the most pizza at 2 a.m. without crying? Your brain loves this game because it's simple. You know if you're winning, you know if you're losing, and you get a nice, juicy dopamine hit every time you score. Game number 2, the infinite game. This is the game of keep playing. The rules change, the players change, and the goal isn't to win. It's to keep the music going. Think. Building a company that outlasts you, creating art that evolves, growing relationships that deepen over decades. Your brain is less comfortable here. There's no clear finish line, no trophy, just the ongoing, sometimes messy, sometimes magical process of becoming. But here's where it gets weird. Actually, scratch that. It gets really weird. No, wait, I lied. It gets so bonkers, you'll want to call your therapist and your high school guidance counselor at the same time. Most entrepreneurs, creatives, and high achievers are trying to play infinite games with finite game strategies. They chase milestones, compare themselves to everyone else, and treat every setback like a personal apocalypse. Nod if you've ever compared yourself to someone on Instagram and immediately regretted it. If you're not nodding, you're lying, or you're my mum. And it's not just a mindset thing. Your actual brain chemistry is working against you, like a double agent with commitment issues. Meet Dopamina, the queen of the Finite game. She's like that friend who's super fun at parties but terrible at long-term relationships. She rewards you for every win, but she's fickle as a cat on catnip. The more you chase her, the less satisfied you feel. And when the wins stop coming, she ghosts you harder than your college ex who still owes you $50. Your brain is like a raccoon at a Vegas buffet, distracted, overfed, and convinced the next shiny thing will finally make it happy. We've all been there, right? There's one insight most high achievers never hear, because nobody wants to admit it. I'll reveal it in a minute, but first, let me introduce you to your brain's other problematic roommate. Meet Rascal, your brain's over-enthusiastic bouncer. He decides what gets your attention, and he's got a thing for drama, danger, and dopamine, which means you're constantly distracted by the next big thing, the next threat, the next win. You're not just running on caffeine and anxiety. You're running on existential dread, FOMO, and the vague suspicion that your houseplants are judging you. No wonder you feel like you're always 3 steps behind and 2 coffees short of a breakdown. Deal? Cool. Let's keep going. But what if there's another way? What if you could play a game that actually gets better the longer you play? What if success became like that friend who actually shows up when you need them, brings snacks, and doesn't judge your life choices? Let's get painfully specific about the weird, sneaky ways the Finite game is probably ruining your life right now. If you're still watching, you're either a fellow overthinker or you just like watching stick figures have existential crises. Either way, you're my people. The success hangover. You hit a big goal, feel a brief high, then crash harder than your Wi-Fi during a Zoom call with investors. It's like emotional whiplash, but with more spreadsheets. Comparison paralysis. You scroll through social media, see someone else's overnight success, and immediately feel like a potato in a business suit. A very unsuccessful potato. The creativity graveyard. You used to have ideas in the shower. Now you just have existential dread and shampoo in your eyes. Your creative well has turned into a creative puddle of sadness. Burnout bingo. You're running on caffeine and anxiety. Your dreams are just reruns of your to-do list. And your houseplants have filed a missing person report. You've become a ghost in your own life. The identity crisis special. If you're not winning, who even are you? Cue dramatic stickman staring into the void while eating cereal at 2 p.m. and questioning every life choice since kindergarten. Relationship ghosting. Your friends start referring to you as the legend because they haven't seen you in months. Your dog has started therapy. Your mum sends wellness checks via text. Shiny object syndrome. You chase every new trend, tool, or life hack, but never build anything that lasts longer than a TikTok dance. Your browser bookmarks look like a digital graveyard of abandoned dreams. The ethical drift. In the rush to win, you start cutting corners, fudging numbers, or ghosting your values. You become someone you wouldn't want to have coffee with. The chronic anxiety soundtrack. There's a low-level hum of stress in your brain, like a fridge that never shuts off, playing the greatest hits of "What if everything goes wrong?" You know what I'm talking about. Here's the nightmare scenario. You win the game, but lose yourself. You get everything you thought you wanted, but you don't recognize the person in the mirror. You're successful on paper, but miserable in reality. But here's the dream. You play a game that gets better the longer you play, and you actually like the person you're becoming. You build something meaningful, connect with people who matter, and wake up excited about what you're creating. But here's where your brain makes everything worse. Your ancient brain is running software from the hunter-gatherer era, and it's about as useful as a chocolate teapot in the modern world. It's like trying to run the latest video game on a computer from 1995. Technically possible, but you're going to have a bad time. Time for some brain science that'll either blow your mind or make you question everything you thought you knew about success. Your hunter-gatherer brain. Back in the day, if you saw a berry bush, you ate the berries. If you saw a tiger, you ran. If you saw a potential mate, Well, this is a family-friendly channel. Your reticular activating system filtered for threats and rewards. Urgency, not meaning. Survival, not thriving. It was like having a very paranoid personal assistant who only cared about immediate dangers and immediate snacks. Fast forward to now. You're not dodging tigers, but your brain still thinks every email, notification, or competitor is a life or death situation. So you chase quick wins, avoid long-term risks, and get stuck in what I call the finite game hamster wheel of doom. Andrew Huberman, the neuroscience guy with the world's most intimidating eyebrows, explains it like this. Chasing finite wins gives you a dopamine spike, followed by a crash that makes a stock market meltdown look like a gentle slope. Over time, you need bigger and bigger wins to feel anything. It's like being addicted to your own success, but the high keeps getting shorter, and the lows keep getting lower. You become a success junkie, but the drug stops working. Here's that secret insight I promised. Most successful people are actually miserable because they're optimizing for the wrong neurochemicals. They're chasing dopamine hits when what they really need is serotonin stability and oxytocin connection. The infinite game brain. Infinite players tap into serotonin for mood stability and connection, and oxytocin for trust and long-term bonds. It's like the difference between eating candy, quick sugar rush, inevitable crash, and eating a balanced meal, sustained energy, actual nourishment. Carol Dweck's research shows that people who focus on learning, not just winning, literally rewire their brains for long-term success. Their neural pathways become more flexible, more creative, more human. Here's what blew my mind. When you shift from finite to infinite thinking, you're not just changing your mindset, you're literally changing your brain chemistry. You're upgrading from anxiety-fueled sprints to sustainable joy-fueled marathons. The gratitude hack. Research shows that gratitude practices reset your dopamine baseline. It's like giving your brain a factory reset. But instead of losing all your data, you gain perspective and actual contentment. So if your brain is basically a confused raccoon with a sugar addiction and commitment issues, how do you escape the trap? Here's your escape plan from the finite game prison. Think of it as a jailbreak, but with more self-awareness and fewer orange jumpsuits. Step 1. Spot the trap, the reality check. Self-diagnosis time. Are you obsessed with comparison? Checking competitors' Instagram at midnight like it's your job? Losing motivation after hitting goals? Post-launch depression, anyone? Treating creativity like a vending machine? Insert effort, expect instant results. Get angry when it doesn't work. Raise your hand if you've ever felt like your brain was conspiring against you. If yes, congratulations, you're human. But also, you're probably stuck in the finite game, and it's time for a jailbreak. Step 2. Flip the script, the questions that change everything. Instead of, how do I win? Ask, will this matter when I'm 80 and telling stories to my grandkids? Is this a trophy or a stepping stone to something bigger? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of looking stupid? How can I make this more fun and less like a root canal? Step 3. Rewire your brain, the practical weird stuff. The gratitude practice, but make it specific. Every day, write down one thing you're grateful for that isn't a win. Like, I'm grateful my coffee didn't taste like sadness today. Or, I'm grateful my cat still tolerates my existence despite my questionable life choices. This resets your dopamine baseline and makes the journey more rewarding than the destination. It's like giving your brain a spa day, but cheaper and with less cucumber water. Deep breathing, the ancient life hack. When you feel the urge to chase a quick win, pause. Take 10 slow breaths. This calms rascal and lets your prefrontal cortex, the adult part of your brain, take the wheel instead of your inner toddler having a meltdown in the grocery store of life. Learn something useless. Try a new skill, hobby or project, just for fun. Learn to juggle. Write terrible poetry. Build a blanket fort. Master the art of making pancakes that don't look like abstract art. The vulnerability experiment. Share your struggles and unfinished work with trusted peers. Host a failure potluck and invite others to bring their best flop stories. It's like group therapy, but with snacks and less crying. Step 4. Write your own scoreboard. Society's scoreboard is broken. It measures everything except what actually matters, like whether you can sleep at night without anxiety medication, or whether your dog still likes you. Make your own. Define success in terms of growth. Am I becoming more myself, or just a better dressed version of my anxiety? Contribution. Am I making things better, or just making more noise? Fulfillment. Do I actually enjoy my life, or am I just surviving it? Connection. The phantom fear. But what if I lose my edge? What if I become mediocre? What if I disappear into irrelevance and end up as a cautionary tale in someone else's success story? This is the fear that keeps most strivers stuck in the hamster wheel. But here's the plot twist that nobody talks about. Infinite players don't just survive, they thrive. They build legacies, deep relationships. When you stop chasing trophies, you end up with more time, more joy, and more impact than you ever thought possible. It's like discovering you've been playing chess when life is actually jazz. Picture this. It's 6 months from now. You wake up without an alarm, not because you don't have work, but because you're genuinely excited about what you're building. Your phone buzzes with a notification. Instead of anxiety, you feel curious, like a kid hearing the ice cream truck, but for adults with responsibilities. You check your bank account. It's growing, but that's not what makes you smile. It's the message from someone whose life you changed with your work. It's the project that's finally taking shape. It's the relationship that's deepening. You realize you haven't compared yourself to anyone in weeks. Not because you're winning, but because you're playing a completely different game, one where everyone can win, and the scoreboard measures things that actually matter. Here's your infinite game playbook. This week, unplug regularly. Schedule analog days where you disconnect and let your brain reset. Your best ideas will show up when you're not looking for them, like finding money in old jeans. Practice radical vulnerability. Share your struggles and unfinished work with trusted peers. It's scary, but it's also liberating. This month, map long horizon projects. Design something that stretches beyond the next quarter. Think legacy, not just quarterly reports. Celebrate progress, not just completion. Prioritize health. Block out time for rest, movement and play. Treat your body like a co-founder, not an afterthought or a machine that runs on coffee and stubbornness. This year, experiment with identity. Try new roles, skills or creative identities without attachment to outcome. Remember, you're more than your job title, your follower count, or your bank balance. You're a whole human being with interests and dreams, and probably a weird hobby nobody knows about. The 10-year vision. Build something that outlasts you. Create work, relationships, and impact that continue long after you're gone. Think cathedral, not quick fix. The infinite game isn't about winning. It's about becoming. It's about building a life, a business, and a legacy that keeps getting better the longer you play. Alright, time for that weird hack I promised. The one that rewired my brain in 30 seconds. Here's the question. What would I do if I had already won everything I thought I wanted? Seriously, sit with that for a moment. If you had all the money, all the recognition, all the success you think you need, what would you do next? That thing? That's your infinite game. That's what you should be doing now. Most people spend their whole lives trying to earn the right to do what they actually want to do. But what if you just started doing it? Here's what I want you to do right now. And I mean literally pause the video and do this. Open your Notes app. Write down one thing you're chasing that, if you're honest, doesn't actually matter to you. Just one. Be brutal. Now write down one thing you'd do if you knew you couldn't fail and no one was keeping score. The thing that makes you feel alive just thinking about it. Screenshot it. Post it in the comments with, "My infinite game is Unfantadria." And if this video helped you realize you've been playing the wrong game, smash that like button. Not for the algorithm, but because it's the closest thing to a high five I can give you through the screen. Subscribe if you want more videos that question everything you think you know about success, productivity, and what it means to live a life worth living. Until then, remember this. Finite players win trophies and lose themselves. Infinite players win time and find their purpose. So, what's the punchline? The choice isn't just philosophical, it's neurological. Your brain is literally waiting for you to choose which game to play. Every day you don't choose, you're choosing by default. And default mode is finite game mode. The next 12 months will separate the infinite players from the finite ones. The question isn't whether you're good enough to play the infinite game. The question is, are you brave enough to stop playing the finite one? And remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The third best time is after you finish binge watching this channel and actually do something about it. See you in the infinite game.